What's going on, people? Welcome to the opposition preview as I'm joined by Stephen from the Toffee Blues channel to look ahead to that massive game against Everton on the weekend. Make sure to check out the Toffee Blues. The link will be in the description down below. And as always, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. Stephen, thank you for coming on the channel. As I just said to you about a few minutes ago, there's always something going on at Everton. How have you felt towards the start of your season so far? It feels like it's been chaotic with, leads going in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. There's still takeover talks with especially our owner potentially going over to Everton, which seems like it's not happening. It must be exciting, draining. How are you feeling?
Bit of everything. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't disappointing, because it really has been. For a club with the following that we've got and history in the league that we've got, to lose your first 4 games and then, of course, lose that lead as well at the King Power on Saturday. Still no win for us this season, but to be honest, I mean, for this game against Palace on Saturday, Jared Branthwaite's back in contention, which is just the one thing that all Evertonians have been hoping for. That's been the real big change, and that I think I can honestly say I truly believe that's why we haven't picked the points up this season. And once he comes back into the team, I'm sure we'll do a lot better.
Yeah, typical. As soon as we have to face you, Branthwaite should be back. Is it confirmed, or is there possibility?
He played an under-23s match last night. Had a really good game, made a goal line clearance. Same with Nathan Patterson as well. And then the news has come out today that he's back in contention for to play on Saturday. So that's absolutely huge for us. Obviously, I mean, I've spoken enough on the channel about Michael Keane and what I think of him. And having him back, I mean, let's be honest, he's by far our best player. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's our most valuable asset. And having him back puts us again in contention to pick up points.
So is it simple as your defense when you're looking at some of the points that you dropped? It started with the Bournemouth game, I believe. That's when I noticed it anyways. And then from there onwards, the Villa game and Leicester as well. I guess the positive is that you can get to winning positions. The negative really is, just trying to keep that. If you manage to keep some of these results, which you should have done, especially against Bournemouth at home, which was very surprising how quickly I saw Everton crumble. I mean, you would be much higher up the table. Is it just is there like a mentality issue, confidence issue as well going on top of the defense as well, Branthwaite?
I think when you've lost 4 games, there's always going to be confidence issues. I think no matter who, unless you're one of the real elite teams in the world, there's always going to be confidence issues if you're losing football matches. But I think a lot of it does come down to not having Branthwaite in the team. There's a hole being left in that defence by his absence, and him. Some of the goals, if you watch them back, the likes of the ones against Bournemouth, which were pretty obvious headers at the back post, the goal against Leicester at the weekend, just jumping around the box, the ball just bouncing everywhere, players unable to clear it. And look, Jared Branthwaite's not valued at £80 million for nothing for what we value him at. Of course, there'll be people who disagree with that valuation, but to Everton, he's worth that completely, because he's such an important player for us. And I truly believe if he hadn't been in for the first 5 games, we wouldn't have been in the position we are now. Of course, there's other problems as well. I don't think Calvert-Lewin's been in his greatest form. Squad depth has been a problem as well at fullback position, especially. There's another one who's back at the weekend, hopefully, Nathan Patterson. So in terms of, I think the big thing has been Branthwaite being missing, but of course there's problems all over the park that need to be fixed.
What about the manager? I've seen a few Everton fans talk about Sean Dyche being an issue. What's your feelings towards him?
Well, I mean, I was always a big believer in Sean Dyche, and I think his ability to get results last season was nothing short of phenomenal. I think this season it's been a little bit I don't know where it's come from, but I think the way that he has set the team up as well when we've been in winning positions to just hold on and not go for second goals, not go for third goals, not try and bury teams where maybe we could have, 2-0 up against Bournemouth, 10 minutes to go. There's no reason that you'd expect your team to go on and try and get a third then and bury the game. But definitely the way he set up the team for me in the last few games, just this season in general, has really been quite disappointing. I would have liked him to have a bit more of a forward-thinking game plan. I would have liked him to have picked his personnel in certain areas better. But on the whole, I just think, look, I mean, he'll be here now, and of course with the new owners coming in, we don't know what they're going to do in terms of the management, and we'll have to see. But my thoughts are that in a lot of ways he's not capable of really stepping up to the plate for Everton and getting us high up the table. He's more of a firefighter type of manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, in terms of the expectation, because we will talk about your off-field issues as well. What are you looking for this season as an Everton fan? Is it the table, trying to stay up, push for top half? Like, what is your expectations after you start the season?
I think for the expectation from the very beginning has just been to finish as high as we can. I think when you're going into the season as an Evertonian, you don't quite know what to expect in this day and age, whether you're going to be fighting relegation or whether you're going to be mid-table, sort of trying to stay in and around there and trying to do better than we did last season. For me, I think the expectation this season was always to sort of stay stable, calm down with all the antics and the constant battling down the bottom of the table and all the drama of it. And I think just a nice calm season was what I was hoping for. But obviously this season it hasn't happened so far.
Yeah, I think that stability surely should come from the ownership issue being solved as well, because that's been an ongoing issue with your financial problems, as well as your owners wanting to sell up. John Textor, he was linked with a move to Everton. In fact, he came out publicly and spoke about it. What was your feelings towards him? Of course, that's not going to happen now. Well, it doesn't seem like it. Maybe you know better than me. But what did you make of him being a potential Everton owner?
Well, for me, I liked the way Textor was talking about the club. He seemed to be really open to the community side of it and being more, in it for the long run. He was very passionate in the way he spoke about it. In Friedkin coming in, Dan Friedkin, who looks like he's now going to buy the club. He's very, very different. So I'm not sure if it would, obviously, we'll never really know how it would have worked out had John Textor come in. But for me, I liked the way he spoke. I don't know if at this time it's something that Evertonians really want. We want more results on the pitch, and we want actual, forward momentum rather than sort of, someone who's I'm not going to say cheerleader, but trying to constantly be so passionate about the football club. That was a problem that a lot of people had with Bill Kenwright, our old chairman. He used to sort of come out and he'd talk a lot about Everton. He'd talk about how great Everton was, but there was never really any results on the pitch to back that up. And I think Evertonians now are sick of being told we're a massive club, we're huge, and we should be better. But we want someone who's going to come in and do it rather than talking about it.
Do you think with the new proposed owners taking over at your football club that you will be getting what you want? Of course, as I said, that won't be John Textor, but what's your feelings towards that? Because that's been a big problem for Everton, the ownership.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the elephant in the room is the points deduction last season that a lot of people can point at. And to be honest, I mean, when you look at Farhad Nashiri's reign as Everton majority stakeholder, of course, you can say the new stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock is a massive plus, which it is. But then you also take into account getting 10 points deducted, the first team in history to have 2 points deductions in a season. That can't spell anything good, to be honest. And that, I think that quite clearly shows the failure. When he came into Everton, it was 2016. Just made it to the FA Cup semi-final, just come out of a season in the Europa League. We were expecting a lot more than what we got. We were expecting a trophy. We were expecting cup runs. We were expecting to be challenging up near the high part of the league, and that hasn't happened. He's completely turned it on his head and had us fighting relegation. So I think with Dan Friedkin coming in, we just hope for something a little bit different and a fresh start, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you need that fresh start. I think you need that fresh start. Of course, you're going to be moving into your new ground, which will be a massive plus in terms of the revenue and finances involved. But it just feels like there's so much off-field issues as well as on-field issues. It just seems a bit chaotic, and a bit of stability is needed at Everton because it feels like every other day from the outside looking in, there's something else going on, and it just seems crazy. It seems absolutely crazy. But going back to this game and a bit more focus on the players. Which players would you say that Palace should be trying to stop? Of course, you mentioned about your defense, but in attack, is there anyone that's been on form that we need to, be especially focusing on? Or
well, one player in particular for Everton who I think has started to show a bit more than he has done was Dwight McNeil. He played mainly on the wing for Everton during his time here. He's now moved into centre, sort of an attacking midfield role, just off the striker, and he's playing a lot better than certainly I expected him to, because he's so one-footed. He's so left-footed. I had it in my head that him being on the left wing, being able to cross balls into Calvert-Lewin was always the best way. But now with Iliman and Dyche as well, who's playing really well for us, he's taken up that role on the left. And Dwight McNeil he also appears as if he's come along a lot in his mentality. He seems like he's playing more like one of our senior players at the moment, and he scored a fantastic goal against Aston Villa at Villa Park. And we've seen what he can do in the past with his left foot. He scored a lot of fantastic goals for us, and I think he's one of them that when eventually his time at Everton does come to an end, we'll look back on him with a lot of fondness. And I think this season he's been one of the players that haven't really hid when times have been tough. He's always been on the front foot trying to score goals for us. So if I was to point anyone out that can really hurt Palace, I think Dwight McNeil at the moment is one of the big ones to watch. When you look at all the stats this year, of course, I know stats don't mean anything when you've only got 1 point on the board, but he's created a lot of big chances, a lot of through balls, and he seems to be, beating a lot of players for his contribution to his team compared to other players even in the league. So for me, I think Dwight McNeil and Iliman and Dyche as well are two players that could trouble Palace, and we're going to need them to on form if we're going to win on Saturday.
Yeah. I've been watching a few games, and you are right. Even against Villa, I believe McNeil scored a goal. So he's and Dyche is also another player as well. But Calvert-Lewin, it's been weird because he has scored a goal so far this season. I don't know if he scored more than one. I can't remember. He has definitely scored a goal, right? Or am I dreaming?
Yeah, he scored 2 this season. He scored 2. Yeah. He scored the goal against Bournemouth, and he scored the header.
You always think that maybe he could do a bit more with his chances at times. I don't know. It's just been weird for Calvert-Lewin because of injuries. But what do you make it as an Everton fan of Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there was a chance at 2-1 against Aston Villa where he was through on goal 1-on-1, and he tried to take it round the keeper, and he passed it into his other foot and passed it into the goalkeeper's arms. And I think he thought he was offside, and he didn't put the ball in the net, and it turns out he wasn't offside. So that just shows really that his confidence is just nowhere near where it used to be under Carlo Ancelotti and stuff. So no, he's one of the most frustrating ones at the moment, because we know what he can do, and he's just not showing it at all. And he could have had maybe 4 or 5 goals this season, but he just doesn't seem to be getting on the end of chances. There was the problem as well with the contract situation in the summer, which was a huge talking point in the summer. What do we do with him? Do we let him go? Do we try and cash in now? Do we keep him for another season rather than and let him go on a free? So
Yeah.
no one's really sure. In terms of Calvert-Lewin, he's either going to have to book his ideas up and start scoring, or go and look for another club, because we need to be putting the ball in the net. And it's good. It's all well and good, the likes of Dyche and McNeil putting the ball in the net, but if you've got your number 9 and he can't score, then you're not going to do anything in this league. I mean, Crystal Palace have got a fantastic one in Jean-Philippe Mateta, and he's what we need right now. We need a goal scorer. We need someone who's going to put the ball in the net. Because once Branthwaite's back, I think our defence will get a lot better. But at the minute, Calvert-Lewin's been really disappointing.
Yeah, and just quickly on Palace, what's your thoughts about Palace? Of course, I don't expect you to be watching them week in, week out, but from the outside looking in, what have you made of Palace under Oliver Glasner?
Well, I haven't watched too much of Palace this season. I didn't see the Manchester United game, but a point against Manchester United at the minute. They're a funny team, aren't they, to play? They either seem to be really bad or really good. You know, just coming off that huge win against Barnsley in the League Cup, you expected them to be firing and trying to really go for games and being cutthroat. But I think 0-0. They're making Selhurst Park a really tough place to go. I think it always has been. I know it's probably one of the cliche things that you always hear on the channel, but I watched a bit more of Palace towards the end of last season. I was really impressed, to be honest. And I can't remember the Palace fan on TikTok. He's quite big. He spoke a bit about Michael Elise leaving and Eberechi Eze staying, and about how Elise's got off to this fantastic start at Bayern, and about how he believes that Elise might have had that extra cutting edge.
He definitely did. Elise has been a better player.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Palace fans feel about that, because I know Eberechi Eze is a popular figure when it comes to Crystal Palace. But for me, I mean, from what I've seen of Oliver Glasner, I spoke to you a bit off camera as well about it. I've been quite impressed, and I think he's someone that Palace should stick with and ride it out and try and get more points, because it certainly can get a lot worse than where Palace are right now. A young squad as well, the likes of Wharton and Gay. You know, I'm really, really impressed with Palace, and I think now Palace have really cemented themselves, haven't they, as a Premier League club that are solid enough to now stay in the league for seasons to come, which I can't say of Everton. So no, I'm impressed with Glasner. Of course, there was a bit of I think the last time I was on the channel, actually, when we were talking in January for the League Cup game. I'm not sure if he was in then, but I remember there being I remember there being quite a bit of talk about Roy Hodgson, about whether he was up to the task of managing Palace. And I don't know. What do you think? What's the general consensus from Palace fans?
Oh, Glasner is the best manager we've had since getting promoted in 2013. He's won the Europa League as well with Frankfurt. He's improved players wherever he's gone. This season so far, we are 5 games unbeaten going into this game. However, we haven't picked up a win yet in the Premier League. We've got 3 draws and 2 defeats, and also some wins in the Carabao Cup. We've had fitness issues. Even in the last game against United, it was impressive, to be fair, but Wharton had to be subbed off at halftime, and Mateta as well. And despite that, we still created the better chances than United in the second half. It's just about getting that final edge and taking our chances and getting players up to speed, because we had a massive problem over the summer with Dyche actually training more with England than he has done with Palace because of his injuries, for example. And then he went to the Euros, Wharton, Dean Henderson, Eze, Mateta went to the Olympics. We had Munoz and Lerma, who was in the Copa America final. So we haven't had a proper preseason as a team. So we've basically been playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I believe we haven't had wins. However, a win in the Premier League. However, I think we are getting close to it. I think we're getting close to tipping those draws into wins. And another full week of training is definitely going to help. So yeah, I guess only time will tell. But of course, going to your ground is never easy for us. You say about coming to Selhurst Park, but I don't think we've got a win at Goodison since 2014 in the league.
I was gonna mention that over on our channel as well. I mean, for me though, I think Palace are definitely in the healthiest shape that they have been since coming up. There's been times when they sort of fell closer towards the bottom of the table, but for me, I think right now they're doing really, really well. And look, it's as competitive as people like to think this league is. I honestly believe that if you get the right players and you get a goal scorer and some solid defenders and midfielders, you can boss this league. We've seen what Brighton have done. Coming up, not spending tons of money, not trying to, buy superstars like we've done in the past, doing things the proper way that will get results, addressing problems when problems come, and not changing things if they're going well. So you've seen that. I think it can be quite easy to do well in this division. And I think definitely Palace now, it's starting to become that sort of, you can see progress, can't you, I think?
Yeah, 100%. We can see progress. Well, let's move on to score predictions now. I did say in our match preview, eventually we have to get a win somewhere. And we haven't done at your ground since 2014, which seems crazy. But we broke a record against Chelsea, where Chelsea were on a 13-game winning streak. And we managed to break that record despite having only 14 fit first-team players. And I think we can. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I can easily see it being a draw. But if I'm going to get my Palace hat on, I'm going to say 2-1 Palace. But also, you must be backing your boys out as well, because surely you're looking at this Palace side saying at home, this could be the game, especially with Jared Branthwaite back at the side.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I said that in for the Bournemouth game, because usually we have a decent record against Bournemouth at Goodison, but Palace is one of our really good teams that we play at Goodison. We seem to play quite well whenever we play them. And
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was actually looking back on our video from January yesterday, and there's a real comment that stood out. A Palace fan went after that one saying Everton are definitely going to beat us. We never do well there.
We never do. I don't get it. I don't know why.
I mean,
we've literally gone to the Etihad. We beat them. We've gone everywhere, and we've got results by Crystal Park. We can't.
We're the same with Aston Villa. Is ours. We can't win at Villa Park to save our lives. I don't think we've won at Villa Park since 2013, and we haven't scored up until last week. We hadn't scored a goal at Villa Park since 2016. So yeah, I mean, we might be your bogey team, but to be honest, I'm just happy to be someone's bogey team at the moment, because it feels like everyone else is ours.
Yeah, how do you see it going then?
Well, like I said, I was confident. I said to someone today, I feel like we're going to win at the weekend. The Friedkin stuff's come through. Branthwaite and Patterson are fit again. There's going to be. It doesn't take a lot for Everton fans to get down. It doesn't take a lot for us to get up either. I think with the confidence of going into it, and the fans will be right up for it, I think we can win this one. I'm going to go 2-0 to Everton.
2-0 Everton, 2-1 Palace. I'm saying, let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below. And make sure to check out the Toffee Blues. That's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.
All right, mate. Yeah, I'll